Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some news coming out from Israel to share with you, and I want to bring you some more updates regarding this potential war between Israel and Hezbollah on the northern side of Israel's country. So we're going to be talking about Antony Blinken here today. This is him right in the photo for you. He is the U.S. Secretary of State, and he's coming out and saying that Israel has effectively lost their sovereignty in the north due to Hezbollah. Now, he was speaking at a interview at the Brookings Institute in Washington just yesterday, and that's when he mentioned this. So he was talking about the 60,000 Israelis that have been displaced from their homes on the northern side of Israel, and this is due to all the rocket and drone attacks coming from Hezbollah all the time. Many of these people have been evacuated from the northern side of the country and moved south, and they're not allowed to return to their homes, okay? They basically can't, because basically every single day, Israel's under attack by Hezbollah's rocket and drone fire, okay? So they cannot return back. It's just way too unsafe. So there's a very large portion of the northern side of Israel that's completely deserted, okay? There's basically nobody there other than maybe the IDF, and many of the people have left those areas because they keep coming under attack almost every day. So that's what Antony Blinken was mentioning here at this interview, was that Israel effectively lost their sovereignty in the north, okay? And this is very big news, because if any country ever comes out and says their territorial integrity has been breached, or their sovereignty has been taken from them or breached in any kind of way, this usually leads to some sort of war, okay? That's generally what we hear before a war breaks out. And I feel like that's what Antony Blinken is warning here. He also comes out and says that, he doesn't think that Hezbollah wants this war, or maybe Iran doesn't want this war. I don't think anybody wants it, but he is coming out and saying that the IDF is ready to go to war if need be. So obviously we are very close to something big going down here. I've got some video footage to show you here in just a little bit as well, that the northern side of Israel came under rocket attack once again today. So it's happening almost every single day. We'll show you that here in just a minute. But first I want to show you this so we can talk about this for a minute. This is from Higgins Adventure Network. It says Western media are frustrated Israel's new northern border. Over 60,000 Israelis have been displaced in the north since Hezbollah enacted its zone of fire. So take a look at this map. This is circulating all over social media. And this is like a new border map that somebody created to show just how much Israel has been affected by these attacks from Lebanon. So this is the original Lebanon border and Israel border right here, right? This gray line. Here's Karat Shimona. This is all Israeli territory up here in this area as well. And this is basically their new border. Look at this. Look at how much land has been taken due to these attacks, okay? This whole section here is completely deserted. There's basically no one here anymore. And they've all been pushed south of this red line down here, okay? So this is a big problem for Israel again, and they've got to fix this. And we heard from Benny Gantz, the former, he's an ex-IDF chief, and also was part of the Israeli war cabinet. He was a minister for the war cabinet. He came out recently and said that they got to get this situation resolved by September 1st. Okay, so that's basically what, just like a couple months from now. Okay, so we're probably going to see Israel declaring war on Lebanon, or at least Hezbollah, excuse me, at some point here very soon. But we're waiting for confirmation to hear that Israel is pulling out of the Gaza Strip, which we have not heard that yet. So now I want to show you this this article here talking about Antony Blinken, okay? Israel effectively lost sovereignty in north due to Hezbollah. Blinken said that there is a momentum leading to a larger war between Hezbollah and the IDF, but that the paradox was that no one really wants to see a larger war break out. So this came out yesterday. It was updated as of today. Israel has lost sovereignty in the north part of its country due to the persistent cross-border attacks Hezbollah has launched against Israel since October, U.S. Secretary Antony Blinken said on Monday. Please, people don't feel safe to go to their homes, he said during a public interview at the Brookings Institute in Washington. Absent doing something about the insecurity, people won't have the confidence to return, he said. He spoke as close to 60,000 Israelis from northern border communities are unable to return to their homes as the areas remain largely deserted. So yeah, think about that. 60,000 Israelis can't go back to their homes, and they're obviously not going to feel safe, okay? They're being attacked by rockets every single day in these areas. How are they going to feel comfortable going back to their homes if Israel does not go and push Hezbollah back. So this is why we're about to have a war break out, because these people can't go back to their homes again, like I said, and they obviously don't feel safe to go back to these areas. So they have to return not only peace to these regions, but they have to return security to these regions. They have to make sure that these citizens that go back here feel safe enough to live in these areas again and not have to worry about being attacked by rockets every single day. So that's a big, big problem. International concern remained high that the almost 9 months of cross-border violence would escalate into a third Lebanon war. Lufthansa Group on Monday halted night flights to and from Beirut until July 31st due to the situation in the Middle East. A spokesperson for the company said this is another big problem now, is that now we've got companies that are halting their flights, these airline companies that don't want to transport people into Lebanon, considering the security situation over here right now. We also had multiple countries, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, multiple European nations starting to call on their citizens to get out of Lebanon and also not to travel there. The U.S. has a travel advisory not to go there. So it's obviously a very dangerous situation right now. Anything could pop off at a moment's notice, and many people are preparing for that. So they're starting to take precautionary measures, just like these airline companies are. The change had begun on June 29th, and daytime flights would operate as before. Swiss Airlines also moves Beirut night flights to daytime. Swiss International Airlines, a Lufthansa Group subsidiary, also said it would move its Beirut night flights to the daytime until the end of July due to the political developments at the border between Lebanon and Israel. So we are hearing right now that a war could break out sometime this month in July. We were hearing sometime in the middle of July, potentially, and that's why these multiple airlines now are starting to do this, where they're starting to no longer take people in the nighttime, now only during the day. So it says here, Blinken said that there is momentum leading to a larger war between Hezbollah and the IDF, but that paradoxically, no one really wants to see a larger war break out. None of the main actors actually want a war. Israel doesn't want a war, although they may be well prepared to engage in one if necessary, he said. I don't believe Hezbollah actually wants a war. Lebanon certainly doesn't want a war because it would be the leading victim in such a war. So look at that statement. That's pretty huge. Coming out and saying that Lebanon would be the ultimate victim here. Not Hezbollah, not the IDF. It would be Lebanon that would suffer the most consequences. I don't believe that Iran wants a war, in part because it wants to make sure that Hezbollah is not destroyed and that it can hold on to Hezbollah as a card if it ever needs to get into a direct conflict with Israel. That's actually, I could see where he's coming there. Obviously Hezbollah is probably the most powerful Iranian-backed proxy in the Middle East, aside from Iran themselves. Would they want to lose Hezbollah or potentially lose them to Israel? I don't think so. And I'm going to be doing a video here later today. We'll try to get to it, talking about Iran as well. And Iran's coming out and saying they're going to back Hezbollah immediately if they come under attack. Okay, so I don't think Iran is willing to let Hezbollah go and fight this on their own. They're not willing to allow an opportunity for Israel to destroy Hezbollah if they were able to. So the best option is a diplomatic arrangement by which Hezbollah would pull back from the border area near Israel, he said. United States has been deeply engaged in trying to advance this diplomacy, he stated. In Israel, Benny Gantz, who heads the National Unity Party, called on the Lebanese army to act against Hezbollah and ensure that the Iranian proxy group is relocated away from the border with Israel. They need to make sure Hezbollah stops. Hezbollah needs to decide whether it's an Iranian branch or a Lebanese organization and pay the price for what comes with this, Gantz told a group of European ambassadors. We talked about that I think it's yesterday or the day before, we did a video on Benny Gantz talking about all this. He spoke at an event sponsored by the European Leadership Network, stressing, I will not agree to the reality as it is now in our northern arenas to continue. Gantz, a former IDF chief of staff and former defense minister, had been a minister in the government's war cabinet, but withdrew from the National Unity Coalition in June, thereby rendering him unable to participate in decisions regarding the war. So yeah, Benny Gantz not really involved anymore, but he does come out and make statements from time to time, and I'm sure his statements do hold merit, considering that he was an ex-IDF chief, he was defense minister, part of the Israeli war cabinet. He just doesn't want to be involved with the war cabinet anymore. So I wanted to show you one last thing here. I've got this video footage of today. This came out on the Israel War Room on X, and it says Northern Israel. Hezbollah terrorists fired dozens of rockets towards Kiryat Shimona and their surrounding area. So this is the most recent footage coming out from Lebanon and the northern side of Israel, showing rockets fired into the northern side of Israel towards Kiryat Shimona, which Kiryat Shimona is under attack almost every single day. Again, this is part of those regions up here that have been basically displaced with all the Israeli citizens, and they're no longer allowed to come back to these areas. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so again, this is northern Israel every single day. Southern Lebanon as well, obviously. The IDF is always conducting airstrikes and trying to take out Hezbollah top leaders, things like that, Hezbollah targets inside of southern Lebanon. But this is what it's like over here every single day, and this is why the people of the north cannot go back to their homes. If there's rockets attacking their towns all the time, like Kiryat Shimona has probably been hit the most. I've reported on Kiryat Shimona more than any other city up on the northern side of Israel. So again, this is obviously a big problem for Israel, and they've got to resolve this. And if they can't solve it diplomatically and peacefully, well, then they've got to go to war with Hezbollah, and that's what we're inching closer to every day. And that's why I did this report about Antony Blinken, is because if he's coming out and stating that Israel has lost their sovereignty in the northern side of their country, this is that next step towards declaring war on Hezbollah. But let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.